We are expecting more crowds, so once you start, I'm sure that people will be joining. So we'll start with the small but relevant audience.
Thank you. Okay. Very small and interested crowd here. Thank you all for coming. And thank you Ajay for the introduction. So, some people were also asking me what does traditional core sector have to do with an event like Huddle, right? It's mostly startups and it's more IT linked, if you can say. But I just felt, there are lessons to be learned from every business. There are approaches that these sectors have. At the end of the day, it's about product, how product's life cycle changes, right? You have an intro stage, you have a growth stage, and mature, and how every business handles this particular, different phases of a product's life. So without much, of a delay, let me get into the matter. Before that, please feel free. This looks like a very serious crowd. Tell me one thing. Which steel company's advertisement have you all seen in the last year or so? Okay, Ajay has seen JSW. That is okay. Anybody else? Any steel company? I think Star team should not answer. They have already worked with JSW. So Malabar TMT. Chalo sir, that's good. Yeah, TMT is steel. So yeah, any other answers? Any other steel company advertisement you have seen? Achha, okay, Kairali, Kenza, okay, everybody is seeing TMT ads. Yeah? We have Dulquer Salmaan and whoever, everybody is endorsing TMT. And when you bought TMT, I don't know if some of you have had houses built in the recent past. Were you involved in the purchase decision? Yeah? Yes sir, you are involved in the TMT? No. Another product is roofing sheet. Yeah, we have roofing sheets everywhere now. How many of you were involved in the purchase of roofing sheets in your house? Like you went and said, you are involved. So you insisted you wanted so and so brand. That, okay, yeah. But even there you have the fabricator, right? The fabricator will come and tell you, okay, this is what we want. No, so the point is, unlike over-the-counter items, these are sectors where the distance to the consumer is slightly more, correct? So there is a house being built. So the contractor will come and give you some options, right? It's very unlikely that you will say, no, I want so and so TMT. I saw this ad or whatever. Even if you tell him, I want Malabar TMT, he'll say, no, Kairali is better. Probably he gets more commission on Kairali, so whatever. So the thing with some of these categories is there's a distance to the consumer. Yeah, unlike in other cases. So I'll just start by telling you about the steel sector. So India sells about 130 million tons of steel. Okay, it's a big business. It's core infrastructure. A lot of things are driving this. Government is spending, capital expenditure as we call it. Where highways, roads, buildings, bridges are being built. Steel is consumed everywhere. Yeah, steel is all around us. Yeah, we may not know it, but it is very much all around us. But the top players, they get about 40% share, and the rest of it, a lot of steel is imported from overseas. You have government companies like SAIL. Okay, they are all present in this madness. So that's one part of it. And this primary steel, what I mean is people like Tata Steel, JSW. They are called primary producers because they have mines. Okay, so they begin by extracting iron ore, yeah, and then you convert iron ore to whatever you have, a smelting process, there's an arc furnace. You create billets, and then you get into what is called hot rolled steel, etc. So they start from that stage. But what you are talking about, all these other companies, Malabar, TMT, Kairali, TMT, they don't have mines and all that. So they buy steel from primary producers like Tata, JSW. They buy either hot rolled steel or scrap steel. They reprocess and sell it. Okay, so that is the second stage. There are secondary players. So secondary players are also very active in terms of media and advertising and all that. So that's the ecosystem for you to understand. Now, where is steel sold? Now, this is just to tell you that what you see as TMT or roofing business, etc., is only 30%. Most of it is in what I have mentioned there as OEM, or it is government, it is military, correct? You have steel that is used for space applications, right? All those even your rocket bodies and stuff, it's all steel at the end of the day. So only about 30% of it is actually visible. Okay, what you see as consumer products, quote unquote. Okay, consumer products in steel. Two examples, TMT, roofing. These are all products that are only a little tip of the iceberg as far as steel players are concerned. Some of it is exported also. So why I am telling you this is because this influences how marketing is done. Okay, because there are only certain segments that we need to communicate to people. And like all of you said, some of you, a lot of you have not even seen an advertisement, and it's not as though there is a lot of direct involvement. Okay, so in such a scenario, a steel player also needs to think in terms of what is to be communicated. Correct. Our communication is also not. Steel cannot be sold like a paint, right? Like you want to paint your house, you choose some color, you want some finish. There's a lot of discussion. Okay, everybody together. The parents, the children get together. The child says, "Oh, I want the pink wall," or the mother says, "Okay, this will be the hall color." I am sure nobody is sitting and discussing what TNT is to be used. Okay, or very unlikely that somebody is saying, "Oh, let the roofing sheet be blue color." I don't know. Okay, it's very unlikely. So the way we communicate is also different. Now, I'll come to one business which is very close to consumer, which is the coated steel business. Now, why I call it as coated steel business is because a lot of the fundamental steel is all, like I said, it is sold in different forms to government and to OEM players, etc. Consumers, largely, we will today talk about the roofing business, okay, which is something which all of you know. Yeah. How many of your homes have roofing sheets applied? Hands, please. Okay, good number. A lot of your homes are anyway, they have roofing sheets. So coated steel, if I just tell you, so don't look at the slide, no, I'm saying, so earlier, we used to have tiles, right? Even today, tiles are there for roofs. Some people, in the north of India, etc., still thatched roofs are a norm. Then asbestos came in, right? Asbestos roofs are still there, but asbestos is again carcinogenic, as you know, so there are government regulations today against asbestos. Then came tin roofing, right? Tin has a very dull color, and you would have seen that sinusoidal kind of, a lot of tea stalls would have the tin roofing at some point in time. Then metal came, metal as in steel came. In Kerala, you also have aluminium roofing, correct? You have seen Oralium and all these companies sell aluminium roofing. So roofing has evolved over time, and today, if you see from pre-90s where tin was used or other metals were used, today this industry has products that actually talk about certain benefits to the consumer, okay, certain technological benefits to the consumer. Apart from that, steel is also used, coated steel is used in appliances, yeah, all your refrigerator bodies, air conditioner bodies, they are all coated steel. Okay, those panels that you see on the side are all coated steel. And of course, things like auto and general engineering, that's all there. So, today, roofing, if you see coated sheets, looking at aesthetics, different properties, anti-dust, antimicrobials, a lot of those things have actually come and they have become, pretty much points of consumer discussion. So I'll just tell you how, in a category like this, in a product like roofing, how companies have been able to think up what actually helps the consumer. Okay, that's what we will touch upon next. So these are our brands by segment, don't worry about it. So there's roofing, warehousing, tin, packaging, doors and kitchens. We are also into doors and kitchens. So these are the categories where communication or marketing plays a role, or the brand plays a role as far as this category is concerned. Okay, rest of the businesses, it doesn't matter. Okay, it really doesn't matter because then steel only sells on price. Now innovations, I was saying. One, if I go from top to bottom, now antimicrobial. Now can you imagine where an antimicrobial roofing sheet will be used? Or what is the need for it? What do you think? So antimicrobial actually was being used. We had certain pharma companies who wanted antimicrobial roofing. Okay, but later we realized, especially during COVID, okay, vaccine storages. Yeah. So for vaccine storage houses, people wanted an antimicrobial solution where microbial growth would get inhibited. So imagine that is what led to us innovating and getting into that space. Okay, where antimicrobial roofing sheets have to come in. Anti-graffiti. Now today if you see the FCI, Food Corporation of India is there, Warehousing Corporation of India is there. We store a lot of grain as a country, and these warehouses are also a little away from towns. Classically you will have some big trees a little away, and you will have bird droppings for all these warehouses. Okay, and bird droppings are very acidic. They will corrode your roof structure, and then they will lead to water and moisture getting in. So we realized that that is another consumer requirement, that you have sheets or steel that can withstand graffiti and markings. Okay, that's how anti-graffiti came to be. Anti-static today. Today we have clients who store EV batteries. Okay, so battery storage is a very critical space where these anti-static sheets are there, because then the static charges, if they accumulate, you would have a spark and you would have some other sort of a issue there, correct? So imagine roofing today has to, or we have seen that the consumer requires all these kind of support, and that's how we have been able to innovate and come with certain solutions. Okay? So I'll just play one AV right now, which is the anti-dust AV. This is very interesting. So the Mumbai Metro, most of you know, Mumbai Metro today has a lot more new lines coming up. Okay, so there's a station in Andheri called Gundavali, and in Gundavali we have applied this anti-dust roofing sheet. Okay, so there they just built on a platform. Those guys said, so the Mumbai Metro team said, we don't want to do any maintenance. Okay, if the sheets get cleaned during the rains, that's great, but we can't have people go climb up and clean. Okay. So that's how anti-dust came in, and anti-dust has a property to repel dust. But the interesting thing is, this film was shot and then we showed it to several other metro corporations, to DMRC, to Hyderabad Metro, to Bangalore Metro, and then they actually felt that this is something we could adapt. So once you see the area, I'll tell you how it works. Sorry, I'm having to just change it here and there. Yeah.
The nation is built by those who don't compromise. JSW Steel, one of the largest producers of steel and color-coated steel sheets in India, brings to you JSW Radiance. Yours uncompromisingly. Committed to be better every day. Making better India every day. For the next 75 seconds, our commitment to nation building continues, celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. A glimpse into how our roofing sheets shape Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Bangalore, and Kochi metro stations, and JSW Radiance anti-dust sheets at Gundavali, Andheri station. Making the metro lines dust-free for a beautified cityscape. Enduring all seasons with its innovative dust resistance property. With the most customizable steel sheets, testimony of our uncompromised attention to detail and technological advancements, radiant sheets with high dirt pickup resistance prevent dusty exteriors, sustain original appearance, allow quick and easy maintenance, are seamlessly weatherproof, come with superior paint technology, and is assured of quality with warranty. With JSW Radiance, it's time to uncompromise. Let's build the nation together.
Okay, so we had to actually set up a camera outside the main road, the Western Express Highway in Bombay, and we had to shoot this over 8 to 9 months to actually prove that when weather conditions changed, the roofs could actually retain their appearance. So the point is, these are the kind of things that, will appeal to a B2B buyer. Okay? So that's one approach that we took. The next one is more of a retail business that we did. Anyway, I think Roshit and Arvind are here from Stark. So this is a campaign that Stark had done for us. I just wanted to show this to you. Anyway, it's the campaign that we had done in Kerala. This is a very consumer friendly campaign. So as you can see, all of you can read this. So see the origin of the story when the creative team of the agency told us, that all these characters who are very hot-headed and warm-blooded characters. So they come under the roofing sheet and they become cool. So when Beast Mogarama had come that time, so Michael Papan is a very angry guy. He's cutting people, he's killing people. So Michael Papan comes under the roof and he becomes cool. So that was one very different take on it. So I'm just telling you, you can see the difference. So one was the approach where we had to shoot and we had to show people that this is how dust accumulation doesn't happen. On the other hand, we have to also go with some of these kind of campaigns where, in a light-hearted manner, we tell them that this. So the core story here is that this sheet will cool the interiors by 4 to 5 degrees. That's the whole point. Okay, that's what we wanted to show by that campaign. And the other thing is that we are saying, or the other campaign that you saw, putting together and all that basically is to attribute certain things, that the sheet has, and those attributes are mapped onto the emotions of the people. And again, like I said, for Kerala, of course, as a state, we have been battered by rain, 2018 flood, the Wayanad landslide. So it's also somewhere our spirit and how this product and this particular category can, align with that spirit. That's what we wanted to show. Now, I was saying, as a business and as a category where you don't, it's not a consumer product, it's not a food product, or it's not a cosmetic product where you interact with the customer on a daily basis. Okay, so one is to of course speak about the product itself, and the other part is to talk about JSW, the brand itself. Okay, and the next two things that I'll show you are about the group and the brand. Okay, because in this sort of a business, it's more. It also goes beyond just taking one category like a roofing or a TMT or some other thing and saying, okay, this is what we do. Okay. There are several aspects of this business where, like tin is a very interesting example. So tin packaging, all of you know, tin is used in cola cans, correct? Tin is used in paint cans, and tin is basically what we also try to push as an opponent to plastic, right? So plastic cans and pails are very common. So tin is basically a thin strip of steel, and it's not a thin block. It's not a tin block, by the way. It's the steel strip on which tin is coated. We use some sort of electrolysis to coat tin. It's a thin layer of tin, and tin is inert, as you know, so it doesn't react, and which is why it is used in food and beverage. So in most of India, oil cans are sold in tins. Okay, I don't think it's so big in Kerala, but in the rest of India, these 50-liter big cans are there, like a jerry can. Those 50-liter cans, it's called pipa in Hindi. That is used by a lot of oil players. Okay, and the problem is, again, not so much an issue here per se in Kerala, but this can is reused, and it is extremely carcinogenic beyond a point when you do that, because of the residues that the oils retain, and then you keep reusing it. Now, ideally, this health hazard should have been addressed by the makers of the oil, right? Whether it is whoever it is, HUL, Dabur, or Ruchi, or whoever it is, whichever company sells oil. But one did not see that happen. So, which is where this initiative came up, and I'll just play a small AV again. Some bit of it is in Hindi, where our objective was to tell people that this is an initiative which we have taken a lead on, because when we sell tin, we talk about sustainability, and that fact that tin can be recycled and reused. And we understood that as a manufacturer and the consumer product company cannot really talk about it. So as a primary player, we decided to talk about it. I'll just show you that video.
In our changing world, sustainability has become our guiding principle, a commitment to balance, harmony, and a future built on responsibility. Yet within this commitment, the Indian edible oil industry faced a challenge of widespread use of reused tins. Not just a steel giant, but a champion of sustainability and leading by example. With an unwavering dedication to a brighter future, JSW Steel pioneers a groundbreaking tin recycling model, addressing a chronic issue in the edible oil industry. It's not just about recycling, it's a transformative journey. JSW Steel actively involves every link in the reuse supply chain, turning anonymous washers into valued partners in sustainable recycling.
पुराने टीम जो फेरी वगैरह से लोकल मार्केट से मैं परचेज करके उसको कंप्लीट अंदर बाहर से वॉश करवाता था। वॉश करने के बाद में उसको इम्प्रूव करके वापस प्लांटों और टिनिंग वालों को मैं सप्लाई करता था, वो लोग उसका रीयूज़ करते थे। अभी मैं JSW को जो माल दे रहा हूँ वो लोग रिसाइकल करते हैं उनको और उसका टेम्पलेट बनाते हैं।
Dedicated processing centers emerge as beacons of environmental responsibility, where collected cans are baled into scrap, ready for a journey back to the blast furnaces, to be reborn as virgin steel. Numbers tell the story. JSW has reclaimed millions of tins and counting, a testament to the triumph of this unique model.
JSW Steel is doing a good job and I'm proud, and it has become easy for me to supply him without any washing or something, doing a good return from the JSW Steel. So I am very proud of that.
JSW is committed to sustainable growth, planning to expand their vendors' collection centers all across India. The aim, to establish a robust recycling network that enhances environmental sustainability.
वॉशिंग की प्रोसेस में एक लिमिटेशन है, 1200 टिन्स पर ही कर सकते हैं हम लोग पर डे 1200 टिन्स, तो वो लिमिटेशन है, इसके आगे हम लोग कर ही नहीं पाएंगे। बिजनेस हमको बढ़ाना है तो नहीं बढ़ा सकते, मगर जब JSW से हम जुड़ गए तो हम लोग रोज का 3000 से 4000 डब्बा बेल कर सकेंगे, उसको स्क्रैप करके बेलिंग कर सकेंगे, तो ये हमारे लिए भी बहुत अच्छा हो गया, फायदेमंद हो गया।
Each recycled can is more than a statistic. It's a promise for a sustainable future. Join JSW Steel in championing change for a tomorrow that echoes with the harmony of sustainability. JSW Steel, pioneering the path towards a sustainable tomorrow.
Yeah, so just to tell you, those guys you saw, they were people who used to collect these scrap tins and sell them back into the market. Okay, so that is actually what they were doing. That Mr. Neyman, etc. in Ahmedabad. So just imagine, we obviously as a tin can maker, suppose we meet a client, we meet say Hindustan Lever or we meet Asian Paints or some such company, and we say, okay, take our tin. It doesn't work like that, correct? Because in some of these industries, it's also this surrogate messaging that has to happen. That yes, as a player, these are things that we want to do for the business overall, yeah, and not just focus on the fact that okay, so much, these are the commercials that we make tin with, and then why don't you take it up? It doesn't work like that. Yeah, so that's the second point I was trying to make. Now, towards the last half. So the other point is, whether it is Tata, JSW, larger organizations, the corporate brand imagery is also driven by some of these CSR initiatives. Okay, and sometimes it's also important, like I said, especially if you look at the way we address our other buyers. Now, government is a big buyer, correct? 50% or 60% are industrial buyers. They include governments, large corporations, PSUs. And somewhere I also feel, while I'm not trying to say that CSR is branded for that reason, no. But obviously, a lot of efforts in that direction help, companies to connect with these stakeholders and, build your equity in a certain manner. So I'll just touch upon this one initiative called Roof to Dream. So we all know government schools are obviously, again, the south of India is a different story. I at least have gone to schools pan India and seen a lot of schools in say Rajasthan or Gujarat that I have seen, they didn't even have roofs, okay? And some of them have collapsing roofs. It is difficult to get money to take care and do anything for their upkeep. And pan-India, there is one phenomenon that suppose there is a flood or there is any some kind of natural disaster, the school becomes a relief camp. Correct. That is true for us also. Yeah. Typically, it is a nearest school which is then government school where everybody is told to take your stuff and go in and stay there. In private schools, yes, missing one day of class is a big issue, but I don't think in government schools it's such a thing. So this initiative, our objective was to, of course, look at refurbishment of roofs, some basic civil work, painting, and today I was saying that other group entities have also come into that. Yeah. So this is again not a direct lesson from as a marketing person for any product, but I think largely also for us to work with several government, quasi-government bodies and to take it ahead. We'll just share that area. Varies in Hindi, and I'm sure nobody here has a problem with that.
एक बच्चा नहीं पढ़ा, एक टीचर कुछ दिन नहीं पढ़ा पाया, कुछ दिन स्कूल बंद पड़ा रहा, तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? एक स्कूल क्या है? 4 दीवारें और एक छत। छत टूट गई तो टूट गई, क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
मुझे इंजीनियर बनना था, मगर तब स्कूल की हालत बहुत खराब थी, तो पढ़ाई छोड़ी।
पुलिस में जाना था मुझे, लेकिन बारिश हुई तो छुट्टी, हवा चली तो छुट्टी, स्कूल में छुट्टियां ज़्यादा होने लगी और पढ़ाई कम, और बस मेरी पढ़ाई छूट गई।
जब सालों तक देखे गए सपनों और मेहनत में पानी फिर जाता है ना, तो बहुत गहरा फर्क पड़ता है। एक स्कूल कहलाता है उसके शिक्षकों से, विद्यार्थियों से और उसमें हर दिन की एक सीख से, कुछ नई उम्मीदों से, नन्हे नन्हे सपनों से। और इतिहास गवाह है कि सिर्फ एक इंसान के सपने देखने से पूरे देश को फर्क पड़ता है। हर माँ बाप का बच्चा पढ़े और हर बच्चे का सपना पूरा हो, इससे भी फर्क पड़ता है।
मैं बड़ी होकर पुलिस में भर्ती होना चाहती हूँ। मैं इंजीनियर बनना चाहता हूँ।
क्योंकि हमारे देश में सपना पूरा होने से बहुत फर्क पड़ता है, और फर्क है बस एक छत का। इसलिए एक छत का बनना बहुत जरूरी है। JSW स्टील ने रूफ टू ड्रीम अभियान की शुरुआत की साल 2018 में, और तब से लेकर आज तक 150 से भी ज्यादा स्कूल्स को एक नई और मजबूत छत दी है। ये कोई मामूली छत नहीं, ये छत 20,000 से भी ज्यादा बच्चों के सपनों की छत है।
मेरा सपना पूरा नहीं हुआ, लेकिन मेरे बेटे का सपना पूरा होगा।
मेरा सपना पूरा नहीं हुआ, मगर मेरे बेटे का सपना पूरा होगा।
JSW का मानना है कि हर सपने को छत मिले तो देश का भविष्य उज्जवल होगा, और इससे हमें फर्क पड़ता है। Building roofs for every dream. JSW.
Yeah, so just to tell you, these are not actors. So these are actual students from a school near Igatpuri, which is near Nasik in Maharashtra, and the list of schools that you saw was there. So again, Roof to Dream was, of course, not envisioned so much as a, let's say, a brand building exercise as such, but I think it also had a larger surrogate effect on the brand. Yeah, that is what our intent was. And today I think, we've also seen a lot of other group entities, like, JSW has cement and paint and all those people who have all come in to build, build the story. So, I conclude. I think Ajay has already given me a warning to stop now. So thank you for your time. I hope this is of course in a business and a category like steel or what is traditional or core. It's not easy sometimes, and it's not direct consumer communication. Like I said, the context is that retail business is only a small pie for a player like JSW or a Tata or any steel company. And many a time the buyer is also an industrial buyer, right? So as you saw earlier, when you have a property like anti-dust or when you have a property like antimicrobial, you project it in a certain manner and then you try and get that, the buy-in from the consumer. And certain other businesses where you saw in tin plate, etc., you have to take a higher moral ground as an industry leader and do something to clean up the ecosystem, which sometimes becomes the most effective form of marketing. So these are some of the thoughts I wanted to share with the audience. Thank you for your time. And any questions?
Any questions? If you have,
I'll be happy to take them quickly. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. You have initiated the success stories.
Right.
Is there any failed campaigns or failed marketing strategies have ever encountered for the company?
In this sector,
Yeah.
you see, I mean, obviously one wouldn't make a presentation out of these. No, I would say more than failures in some industries like ours. What happens is the grades of steel also a lot of advancements happen. Yeah. And the important thing for us is to then upgrade that, understand how each product can perform. For example, I'll give you a little example. Certain grades of steel work well in corrosive environments. Okay, so corrosion is a big factor, as steel structures corrode. And corrosive environments are graded from C1 to C5, right? So C4 and C5 are the most corrosive environments, like marine ecosystems, like what you have in, say, Trivandrum or Kerala. So what we've seen is that certain products would have obviously got installed, but that's also a function of price and a function of what the vendor would have been able to afford at the time. But we would have seen that what should have lasted probably 20 years, you tend to see corrosion there. Now those are all, I wouldn't say as marketing failures, but yes, it's probably the right product choice based on the situation that you would have seen. Okay, but then in those cases we've had to upgrade and we've had to change. That's what we did.
One more. See, green hydrogen has been playing a key role in the steel industry.
Right.
Especially China, they are also shifting to green hydrogen.
Green hydrogen, yeah.
As a sustainability, you have a sustainability platform for you.
Right.
So, have you ever pitched that green hydrogen?
Absolutely. So if you see, there are documents online also. If you look at JSW's annual report, there is a roadmap that we have to go carbon neutral, and I think we have a flagship plant in Vijayanagar, which is near Bellary. We are migrating. So I think we are looking at a 5-year journey towards that. You can get the details. It's probably the roadmap is also laid out on a public platform. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a question. So, have you faced any marketing challenges in entering any market compared? So, for example, Kerala is a problem-aware market, right? So, have you faced any challenges in entering a problem-unaware market? And what are the marketing adaptations that you have taken towards entering that kind of a market?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's problem unaware. Like I'll give you an example. So this microbial.
I'll just reiterate.
Sorry.
I'll just reiterate. So, for example, there will be places where there are traditional clay roof tiles, right?
Right.
So, how do you place your product against those kind of?
Understood. Yeah. Which is that's again upgradation, right? So the market upgradation. So we are one industry where that is happening. Yeah, you're right. If you go back to these marketing frameworks, new product, new market, old product, old market. I think some of us who have studied Kotler can recollect that. See, the north of India is a good example. South, I think, adapted much earlier to alternate materials much earlier. We all have seen this, even from the 90s or the 2000s, steel roofing became the norm. I must say, even as we speak, you do have a lot of thatched roofs and what are called kacha roofs in some parts of the country. If you look at, say, parts of MP, northern MP, southern Rajasthan, parts of UP, that story is still alive. But if you ask me, some of them are still moving into the tin roofing business at this point, and some of us are moving into that. So what you then tend to do is to compare relative benefits. For example, tin tends to corrode. Okay, tin tends to corrode, and so in some of those markets, we obviously talk about steel as a product that lasts for X number of years. Today, roofing, we also offer warranties. So roofing is not a category where warranties used to exist as a matter of fact, but today they do. For example, you get a roof warranty of 20 odd years. So then it's an assurance. I mean, not that somebody is going to come back, or they may or may not, but the assurance is what matters. So that's, to answer your question, one is a comparison to what the existing alternative is, and what your benefits, what your takeouts from this are. So this is happening in certain markets.
Just to add on to that, so basically these kind of products, when paint, tin roofing, so these are sold by distributors rather than opted by consumer. Right?
Yeah.
So how do you, when you enter the market, are you pushing the marketing narratives towards a brand awareness for the consumer, or do you push it from a distributor angle?
Absolutely, no, that's great. See, I tell you what, in building materials overall, if you look at steel, let's say roofing, you look at cement or paint, the influencer is very important. Yeah, your painter is important, your contractor is important, your fabricator is important. Because most of the time, as consumers, we tend to rely on their opinion, which is true pan-India. I mean, if a painter comes and insists, no, I will use X brand of paint, it's very unlikely you will go against him. It's true the case here also. So, two parts to that. One is, see, that is where the central brand and the reliability of, so for example, Tata Steel or JSW stand for something, correct? As opposed to you have let's say a steel authority in a goods product. So you might actually you might tend to move there. So it's a combination of one, building your core brand attributes. For example, we have a product called Coloron Roof, Coloron Plus. We talk about warranty. We may talk about certain of these differentiating factors like anti-rust, etc. So the product differentiation is pitched, and it's a combination of how your core brand is communicating, and the influencer. In my view, the influencer is more important than your distribution network. So these are two angles which we work on, both of them. Someone else having it? Yeah, gentleman there.
It's a simple question, sir. You mentioned about anti-dust tin sheets.
Right.
How does it help the environment? Actually, the experts advise us to plant big leaf plants to arrest the dust.
That's a dust, yeah.
The dust are pollution and create the dust allergy and all.
Right. No, sir, so I don't think we can solve for dust, frankly, to that extent of how to control dust from getting created, which I think is the rather thing. But see, in our case, the coating and the steel, we have a galvanized coating at a certain thickness, the color that we apply, a coil coating as we call it. These are built at a certain, I would say, so these are the chemical there, okay, whatever it's a compound. It tends to sort of, shrink and ensure that dust doesn't penetrate the surface. So dust remains on the surface. So that is all that actually we do. I think what you're saying in terms of building, having trees planted and those are more at the source level of having dust from getting created itself. So in our case, whatever dust is there, it doesn't stick onto the surface, because after a point, if dust settles, then it will start penetrating the surface and create, the color will change and damage the substrate. Here we are saying that the dust will only settle on the top and it gets run off by rainwater or by any natural accident. That's what we are trying to say. Yeah,
So, Anu will be available offline for, if you have any additional questions with the short of time I want to. Anu,
thank you, team.
So, thank you so much, Anu. Thanks for sharing all the information. So, this is Anu, Vice President of JSW Steel, and Anu, we have a small token of appreciation.